Welcome, Saners. Welcome to the round 18 review. Comment your thoughts and then we shall get into it. I'll wait a few more seconds. We'll get as many Saners as we can and then we'll try and make some sort of sense of what that was. Because I'm still a bit, not really sure exactly what that was. Bit in shock. Margin was very flattering. The Dogs took their foot off the gas late, and don't let the scoreboard fool you is what I say. So, in a nutshell, honestly, to see Sharman as a backman, to see Patton as a defensive forward, to see Bont do whatever he wanted. The fact that they had no Aaron Norton and Bruce didn't kick a goal, I don't think. And they still made us look silly. And the worst part is, I'm sure a lot of Dog supporters would agree, they didn't actually play that well. The Bont played amazing. A bunch of them played well, like a handful of them. But the majority of them just executed basic fundamentals of AFL football that you would expect from professional players that train full-time and get paid hundreds and thousands of dollars to do. It's not like they played out of their skin. They just did what an AFL team is supposed to do. And I think that's the breaking point right now for me watching that performance, is that we genuinely cannot trust this team to do the absolute basics that they are expected to do. At the very least. At the very least, you tackle. At the very least, you can hit a 15-metre target. If you're under pressure and you miss the kick, that's fine. But when you're under no pressure and you can't hit the kick, you can't hit the handball, and it's 2 minutes into a game and our forwards aren't willing to run, aren't willing to lead, aren't willing to make a contest, and the ball is being walked out of the defensive 50 as if there's no players around the opponent, that's when some red flags start to fly, and you're just like, what? And the fact that we're deep into the third term and we've kicked 2 goals under the roof on a Friday night in a game that decides our fate for the season, whether we make finals or not, against a team that's lower than us on the ladder, against a team that's missing some pretty important players as well, their best forward, top of the list. We waited until the 20-minute mark of the last quarter to go through the middle. And shock horror, we actually put some scoreboard pressure on them. And Ben Long actually came on and did something. He actually chased and tackled and showed some heart and actually wore the jumper with pride, you know? He actually represented the club in a good light. But the rest of the team, apart from maybe Cal Wilkie, I would say, not one of them can really hold their heads high. I honestly, firmly believe that. This is the first game this year where I've actually, in moments, and my partner Jess would actually agree with this, I had my hands like this, I couldn't watch. I couldn't believe some of the skill level that I was seeing on a dry deck under the roof. I know I'm not the only Saner that saw it that way and was feeling that way. But to come to a Friday night game excited, get a good dinner, get a good feed, get to some good seats, thanks to Marshy for that. And then 5-10 minutes into the game to essentially be like, okay, so what am I going to say in the review? How am I going to dissect this? How am I going to relay it to everyone watching in a way that doesn't come across as a rant? Because I did, a lot of Saners tonight probably wanted me to come on and do a rant, but I've done that many rants over the years that I'm just kind of all ranted out. So I just wanted to come on here and I guess, kind of be a bit more, I don't know, thoughtful with my response. You know, there's so many players tonight that just don't look up to it, up to AFL standards. I think Paddy Ryder, although he went off injured even before that when he was on, I'm really questioning whether he does go on next year and if he wants to. I think Marshall struggled tonight, although he did a bit better late. Zach Jones battled hard, but again, we need execution, we need skills, and we just don't have that. We laid 13 tackles, I think, in the first half. 13. What's worse is the Dogs only laid 22. But they seemingly looked like they were pressuring us a lot better. And we were the ones chasing the whole half. So our tackle count should be through the roof. 13. With about 10 players or more under 10 possessions in a half. We weren't there. Like, it's pretty clear cut for me. We just didn't give a shit about the performance tonight. And I feel so sorry for everyone that turned out. All the fans. I always feel a bit heartbroken when I look and we're getting smashed and we're playing shit. And I look behind the cheer squad and there's, you know, like little kids. There was a kid sitting behind me. He was like 8 years old. Third quarter, he's like looking broken. Feet up on the seat next to his mum and dad. Kind of like, is this what I'm in for, you know? Reminded me of me when I was a bit younger. It's just such a letdown. We were 8-3 in this season. How do we not show any heart? We can take losing. I don't understand. Like, we don't have to talk about it every week, but I bring it up. All Saners really want is effort and heart. And that's at least what got us through a lot of bad losses in the 80s, in the 90s, early 2000s. There were performances that showed this team had guts. It had heart. It wanted to win. It was upset that it didn't win. And it really wanted to win. Even when we were getting smashed, you could tell the players were hurting. Look at the Max Hudson footage when he was crying after we just continually lost games. We want to see that from the players. We want to see that. We don't want to see the final siren and then players share laughs with Bont, who's had a dominant performance and gets man of the match and the award after the game. We don't want to see that. If the club are really fed income, show us the raw footage at halftime of Rats giving them a spray, or the full-time footage, the uncut. We never see uncuts when we lose. We only see it when we win. Show it when we lose, Saners. Make a difference. It's got to change somewhere. You know, someone needs to set an example. Someone needs to set a tone. This is not good enough for the fans, for the members, for the supporters, for the sponsors. It's got to be from internal. We can't continually do this every week. So, I could talk about the tactics. The fact that we went from one side to the other, continually trying to switch, and actually had really good seats. We were in aisle 22, kind of near behind the goals Coventry end, and I had the prime view for any time that we had Battle or Wilkie with the ball. We'd go left or we'd go right, and then we'd immediately try to switch the ball over. What I saw was when we did go for the switch, our mids moved slow and our forwards hardly moved over to where the ball was going, to the new fat side. And the Doggies sprinted over each side, continually just whatever side we went on, they beat us to it. So when we eventually got the switch, it was all Dogs down the line anyway. When you go for a switch, you've got to do it quick and you've got to push hard. It's up to your mids and your forwards to create that outlet, to push hard so the defender has somewhere to go. When you switch and the forwards and mids don't do that, you go down the line anyway, or you try and switch back and then there's no one on that side because we've pushed over eventually. So it's just a shot game plan. And that comes from the coaches, that comes from Rats, that comes from the assistant coaches, the selection panel, the fact that I think tonight we could have played Joyce again. I don't think Sharman was the answer in the back line. I think that Battle did a very good job on Bruce. I think Wilkie handled his positions really well. I think Sharman got some good possessions, but didn't make a difference. Our forward line needed work, and that's it. Our defence is not the problem. I've realised that. We conceded, 80 or 90 points tonight. Similar to us winning in the first 8 weeks, we were doing that. We were just kicking bigger scores. Our disconnect comes from midfield and it comes from our forward line. And you just got to look at Rowan Marshall and Max King when they play in the same forward line. They both stand together and they're pointing like this, just this little shit. Rowan Marshall did it several times where we had the ball in the back line. We switched to the side he was on, and then he stands there. And then when the player turns his back and we go to the other side, then he puts his hand up. But we're already moving to the side that he's not on. So why are you doing that? Doesn't make any sense. It's just like, I'm making myself look busy by, hey, I'm here. Make yourself obvious by moving, not by putting your hand up. I'd be happy if players didn't put their hands up. Just move and create the space. That shows effort. That creates those continual easy passes. Tonight we had no easy passes. We didn't go down the middle. We didn't have the guts to. I wish we did, but we didn't. And then we got done on the turnover when we turned the ball over because we didn't have the skills to execute. And the Dogs did not play a great game tonight. They played an efficient game, a regulatory AFL standard game by a team that is expected to play finals. That is all they did. We played like we were a bottom 2 team tonight. We played worse than that. That's all I got to say, Sainers. So hopefully, you understand that. That made sense to you. Maybe that resonates with you. If it doesn't, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. We'll go through them now. I know it's late, so we won't go too long. We'll give a few 10 minutes or so in the comments, and we'll see what you guys think. Thank you very much to my assistant, Jessica, for that. Geordie, this is from Geordie. At least we don't have the belief that we can make finals still just to get disappointed again. Yep, mate, it's the hope. It's the hope that kills you. That is what it's like to be a Saints fan, unfortunately. Nick Hall says, don't waste your time. Yeah, sorry, I read your comment too late. I've already wasted my time. Russell says, I feel you, Jake. Adrian says, does final quarter prove our premiership window is well and truly open? That must be a bit of a joke because we only did that because the Bulldogs definitely slowed down. I don't think we did anything that would warrant that. That's a very odd comment. Jack's asking, did we sign Ratton too early? Like, there's now no pressure on him to perform, and the boys played like they didn't want to be there for most of the game. Everyone's too comfortable with little pressure on spots. It's surprising that we signed him for 2 years and the boys suddenly play some of their worst football of the year. Is that saying something? Is there some sort of disconnect that we don't know about? I'm just speculating. I'm not saying that's what's going on. It's just interesting that has suddenly occurred, that we're playing shocking football since that announcement, as if the players didn't like it. But I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Kieran says, I'm sick of having to say next year. Yeah. I was with Joycey tonight. How vocal was he?
Oh, very.
He was so upset, Sainers. I've never seen him that upset at a game. And to be frank, he was the actual entertainment for the night. Seeing him lose it over everything, over every mistake. If that wasn't for Joycey, I would have really not wanted to be at the game tonight. He was the entertainment. Declan says, someone give Sinks, Wilkie and Steele a chance to play at another club. They don't deserve to play at such an awful club. It's a disgrace. Mate, I was thinking that at midway through the third term, looking at Steele and the way he was acting. He must be so upset that he's got this sort of team around him. And he deserves so much better. Jack Sinclair, I forget, I did say that Wilkie was the only one that could hold his head high. Steele and Sinclair also. Sinclair especially. He looked so upset. Like, you can see it in a handful of players that they hold their teammates to a higher standard, but their teammates don't hold themselves to that standard. They're just happy to plug along and take their paycheck and play every week. And if they win, they win. And if they don't, they don't. 41 clearances to 21. That's where we lost the game. That's from Harley. Absolutely. Got smashed in the middle. And I said that in my preview. That was the critical point. Critical part of the ground that we really needed to at least break even in to have a chance, and we didn't. Honest Truth segment needed in next week's podcast, mate. I think that's a good title, Honest Truth. That is the title for next week's podcast. The whole episode is just Honest Truth. We need to cut the shit and talk about where we're really at, and we're going to really delve deep into what the hell is going on at the footy club and how we can get better. Whether it's from the footy club or maybe the fans have to step in and say this is not good enough. Wood and Jones turnover kings. That's from David. Absolutely. I thought Jones tried hard but turned it over, and Wood. I really want to find a reason to really like the bloke, but I like the bloke. He's a great guy, but as a player, God, he leaves a lot to be desired. He takes a good mark and then he shanks it. He does a good thing, he does a bad thing. It's just such a mixed bag from Mason Wood. Zach says, we continue to play reactive and play into the opposition's hands and do nothing about it till the game is done. Spot on, mate. Couldn't have said it better myself. We always wait until the last minute to do it. We're so late to the party. We wait for the opposition to make their hand, to show their hand, and then we show ours. But we always show ours 5 goals too late. We've got to show our hand straight from the first bounce. We don't wait and see what they do. Let them question what they're doing and worry about us and what we're doing. We don't worry teams. We get worried before we even run out on the ground. Beck says they looked flat from the time they ran out. Wilkie and Steele can hold their heads high. Yep. Fair call. They looked flat from the second the ball was bounced. 1-5 after the bye we are. Yep. The bye form has really stuffed us here. Eugene says, hi Jake, I think we have the worst assistant coaches in the league, except for Enright. Can we get a specialist forward coach in? Yes. Midfield coach? Yes. And a skills coach. That is awesome. We should do that. And can we please pinch Mark Williams from the D's? Mark Williams. I go to the Hamptons bakery, and Mark Williams is always there. I was telling Jess about it the other day. He walked in, and I said, this is the guy that has turned Melbourne into a genuine premiership team. This guy. Goodwin's great, but they needed Mark Williams, and we need someone like that at St Kilda. We need a coach, a director of coaching, like someone like him that can come in, look from top to bottom, and help the coach out. We don't have anyone like that at the moment. Mark Williams is a great call, but he's at Melbourne, I believe. Michael says, kick around the boundary, switch sides, kick around the boundary again, eventually take the long kick down the line, turn over the ball. That is the game. If anyone didn't watch the game tonight, and I hope you didn't because it was awful, Michael has summarised it, all 4 quarters for you perfectly. Beth says, if we were playing with any awareness of Geary, whose heart wants to be there but body won't allow it, that was not evident at all. Beth, that is a great point. Jaron Geary, he retired yesterday in front of them in tears, saying that he wants to run out for them. He wants to play for them. And the irony is he can't because he always put his body on the line for his teammates. And you know that if he had got his body right again, he would have run out and done the exact same thing. But how many players tonight can you say would have done that? That channeled their inner Geary, that would have put their body on the line. He wasn't blessed with the most skill, but he had the biggest heart. We've got players on this list that have untapped skill, that are going to be superstars, but they don't have the heart at the moment. Don't know how you get that. It's easy to have heart with no skill. It's hard to just develop heart out of nowhere. Johnny says, I'm tired of this, real tired of it. We have no mongrel in us. I honestly think we miss D-Mac quite a bit. Yep, perfect point there, Johnny. Another good point. I did say to Joycey, I feel like we're the most introverted football club in the AFL. No one was pointing. No one was getting angry. I wanted Steele to go up and shake someone and say, fucking sort it out. Go over there. Do that. We criticise Dukes, but he does that in the back line. He points. He fucking orders people around. Says, do that, mate. That was shit. That was good. We didn't do that. Everyone was in their own world tonight, doing their own thing, worrying about themselves, not about the team. And we always say that. When we do that, we're at our worst. And we were completely at our worst tonight. Samuel says, it looked like a repeat against the Dogs last year for the first 3 quarters, and I believe we got smashed. That's it. Well, we lost by 111 points last year, Samuel. So, yeah, it was pretty much exactly the same. The margin was way more flattering, but yeah, it was pretty much, it felt like the same sort of game. Daniel says, let's just play the young kids from now on, and we're not going to make finals. Another year wasted. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a waste, but it's just a really really big letdown of a year. Yeah, it's just shocking, Saners. I'll go through the top, see if I've missed any. So this app is not really showing all of them. Tammy says Max King, a lazy player. At times he can be quite lazy, but that runs through the whole team. I think that stretches through the whole team, so I wouldn't just pick him out. Dale says, don't get you lot. You beat Carlton and Ratton was the best thing since sliced bread. Yep. 2 weeks is a long time in footy. 2 weeks ago, we were loving it. I came home, smile on my face. Jess was like, what's going on? I'm like, we just beat Carlton. It's the best thing in the world. I felt so good. 2 weeks later, season's done. And I'm here trying to summarise all the shit for everyone to kind of have a good night's sleep. I'm doing it for you, Saners, so you can all sleep well tonight. Please read my comments. That's from Gavi. I'll try and find them if I can.
The data here is pretty bad.
Yeah, data's here.
The
data's not really sending through every comment. Greg says, please stop with the excuses. 11 years of incompetence. Don't blame the players. Look deeper with decisions by this love fest called the St Kilda Football Club. Yeah, well, when you go to the football and you see players doing what they do tonight, mate, it's pretty hard not to blame the players. I know that the issue stems deeper, but the players could change that. The players are the culture. If the culture's shit, players can make a stand and not accept it. Right now, they're just accepting, this is what St Kilda is. Doesn't have to be forever, though. But right now, that's what it is, you know? People walk into the four walls of Moorabbin and that's St Kilda. Zach says, kicking was fucking shit house. Sorry for the language, but it was dreadful. Sashi's asking, does tonight show that Marshall should be our main ruck? Yeah, I think we've always thought that. I think we need to look at a replacement beyond Paddy Ryder. And based on his injury, hopefully he's okay, Paddy, because we love him. But I think this might be his time, but we will see. Paddy's very resilient, so it may not be. Susie says, hats off to you, Jake. Thanks for doing this. Embarrassing display tonight. Yeah, that's all good, Susie. Happy to do it. Bryce says, don't know how you do it, mate. I don't have it in me to watch the review at the moment. We'll catch up later. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Bryce. Appreciate that. And yeah, I wouldn't be offended if you didn't watch it later because it's a tough one to watch. Zach says, a bit disappointed. The backline had no clue what they were doing in the first three quarters. I disagree. I think the backline actually managed pretty well to keep the score at what it was. You know, it could have blown out way more. Wilkie and Battle, I thought, intercepted a lot of good ball there, and Highmore and Sharman got a few of those late. So I think, like I said at the start, I think midfield was the biggest problem in this game, and forward connect was just shocking. Yeah, I think I might wrap it up there, Saners. Yeah. I don't know what happens next, but the good thing is, and I guess quick plug, Potty will be out Monday night, so stay tuned for that. If you're watching this and you enjoy my content, I'd really, really appreciate it, Saners. Head on over to YouTube, Saints TV Pod, and hit subscribe. I want to get to 4,000 by the end of the year. And Instagram, if you want to watch and enjoy more of this content, whether it's win, lose, or draw, at Saints TV Pod on Instagram. Please hit subscribe, hit like or follow, whatever the hell it is, and jump on there and help us grow there. And I really want to just do a quick shout out to all of you watching from home or wherever you're watching it, and in particular to the people that have donated stars. That's a real bonus. Don't expect that from you after that performance, but really do appreciate all the added support that everyone feeds to the channel. That's really kind of you. So, yep, not our game tonight. Looks like not our season tonight, which is really, really devastating. Really thought tonight we could have turned it around, but we didn't. And yeah, that just saps all kind of excitement for the year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. We're going to be at the Bentley Social next Sunday from 3 p.m. It's the Saints TV Disco. Details are on the Facebook and Instagram pages. If you want RSVP to make sure that you submit your spot, and we'll be there. 10% off food and drink. So If you don't want to watch it from home, you want to be around myself and other Saners, Joycey and the guys, head on over to the Bentley Social next week. Hopefully get a fair few Saners turn out. Projector screens, watch the game there. We probably will lose. We don't know what team will turn up, but at least you're around Saners and good drinks and good food and good company. So I'll wrap it up there, Saners. Appreciate it again. Thank you for your time, all your support, all your messages. I'm really upset, not only for myself and, but all the Saners that turn out. And we just want this team to be more. We know it can be more. I just wish the players and everyone that worked within it could find that missing link, that something that can just sort that shit out. Anyway, Saners, take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Get out, have a coffee, go for a walk, and I'll see you next week on Saints TV. Take care, Saners. Have a good night. Go you mighty Saners, I suppose.